that you can always tell when it's tax refund season because people will actually come through the drive-through saying, "I want extra bacon, I want extra cheese." Hi, We Thrive Tribe. It's Joy Scott, your host of the We Thrive Tribe podcast, where I help you increase your belief so that you can progress faster and thrive. I want you to think of your life as a big, juicy burger. For people who like to eat meat, of course, it's going to be a hamburger. And for the vegetarians out there, it'll be a nice, juicy veggie burger. Now, I want you to think of all the things that could go on this burger that you really like. Of course, you're going to have the patty because that's your substance, that's the bulk of it. Then you could have lettuce, tomato, what else? Pickles. Yeah, some of you like pickles and some of you are like, keep that away from me, honey. And then you could have mustard, mayo, the works. I've seen all of the commercials that have these juicy options. And there's this saying around here, I saw it on social media, that you can always tell when it's tax refund season because people will actually come through the drive-through saying, "I want extra bacon, I want extra cheese." They want to upgrade their combos to the larger size, that sort of thing. And it made me think about life. Now, think of your life as a big burger. Or maybe you have a small appetite, so think of a little biggie burger. But you get the point, right? Now, every part of that burger could be a part of your life, could represent a part of your life. Things that are priorities and things that are preferences. So, of course, your patty is going to be the priority. It's going to be where your values are, okay? So, family, it could represent work. Maybe the lettuce could represent having a car. Perhaps the tomatoes, if you're like me, you may have to be in the mood for tomatoes to get it that on your burger that day, and you may decide to leave that off. So that's the preference. So that could be being married, or you could have cheese. Now this is one where there are tons of options, right? Because you get up to the drive-through and you see all these different ways that people have that these companies have made to have cheese. There's sharp cheese, mozzarella cheese, Swiss cheese, Gouda cheese, cheese sauce. So the possibilities are endless. So that's definitely a preference. Now, all of those things in your life, plus other things, other toppings that you could put on, some of those, like I said, there are preferences and some are priorities. Some are things that you really have to have. There's substance to you. And I want you to reevaluate your life for a moment if you're feeling stressed. Think of your life as a burger. What is really the substance and what is really a preference? Okay? So maybe you want to get married. That could be cheese. So you want cheese. But maybe you're fine being single and that's okay. So you may not want cheese. You've dated before, so it's not like you've never come close to having the ideal cheese. You got cheesified at one point, right? You want to think about the different ways in which you can reprioritize. After all, burgers now can be with or without buns. There was a time in our lives in which no one even considered that you would have a burger without a bun so that it would be healthier and you would eliminate some of the carbs, right? But that's the thing now. That's actually an option. So don't be afraid to reevaluate what's really a priority and what's really a preference because the stress that you're putting on yourself to get that extra bacon, that extra cheese, the extra things in your life, they could really be preferences. And it's time for some of you to reevaluate that because your minds can't handle the stress of trying to have a big juicy burger that you give snippets of yourself away and bites away to everybody. And then you have none for yourself at the end of the day. So that is the way when you're trying to make a decision to think about what you really need in your life and what you don't need, or what you could really have right now, and think, okay, I'm not missing out if I don't have this right now. There will be other opportunities. If you go through the drive-through of life and you don't have cheese today, it's not like you can't go back and have cheese another day, or like you've never had it before, right? So let me know what you got out of this down in the comments. What are your priorities or preferences in life? What's your hamburger, veggie burger? What's your cheese or option to not have cheese? And speaking of food, those of you who watch faithfully know what's coming up next. Stay tuned for the What Am I Eating segment. For those of you who are still stumped about last week's What Am I Eating segment and you weren't able to quite guess, the answer is in the comments, as well as the link to the previous podcast in case you missed it. And I want to thank Miss Leslie Pigney for also guessing a previous podcast answer in which I was eating bacon. And the link to that is posted also in the description section and the comment section of this video. So let's get into this week's What Am I Eating? Here's how it works if you're new here. I'm going to describe what I am eating. And if you guess correctly, put your answer in the comments. I personally read every comment on this podcast and I reply. And I shout you out in one of my podcasts, in between podcasts. So let's get into it. The powdered sweetness of this substance enhances the flavor of many desserts. Would you eat it alone? Well, perhaps you could, but it works so much better sprinkled across cakes, tarts, or just for fun. Make sure that if you mix it in something, you mix it up very well, because you don't want lumps. Though it's very hard for this to be clumpy if you do it correctly. It also adds an angelic touch to any dessert that it's sprinkled over, because it's a subtle sweetness, a subtle sugar that makes all the difference and is a baker's true pal. Okay, We Thrive Tribers, it's your chance to guess. Remember, put your answer down below. I'll be reading, looking for them, and responding and congratulating everyone who takes an attempt. Now, thank you for joining us with this edition of the We Thrive Tribe. I look forward to seeing you again next episode. In the meantime, remember that if you believe, you can progress and thrive.